Hi there and welcome to our August fisheries feedback video from a very sunny and very pleasant Farnham Flint. It's now the first week of September, officially autumn. Feels more like late summer to me. We're hoping the fishing's going to improve because it's been a tough old year, but it's good that temperatures return to something like normal. We've got some great news for you about some more fishing opportunities for Redden District members. Reports back from Jim and Del, who've been very busy working on our waters. And we got the usual features, competitions and announcements. So let's crack on. Okay, so fisheries report. Del, I see we've had a few problems both at Flint and Moatlands, which you could have done without, really.
Yeah. I mean, the Moatlands thing, it's been on Facebook, so I won't dwell on it too long. But we had a lot, and I mean a lot of kids down there.
This is in the height of the heat wave.
Yeah, treating it as their Lido, if you like, to the cost of people that were fishing.
Yeah.
And it all came to a bit of a head. And we got to the stage where we had to close the fishery. So we closed the fishery until we could, get the authorities to start sitting up and taking some notice and get some action down there, which, to their credit, they've done. I'm in contact now regularly with the local officer, and he goes up and down. Anyone that sort of knows and has been up to Moatlands will know there's a combination lock on there now, and the reason that is because we don't trust the police with a key. So it's a lot easier for them to gain access. So they'll be paying visits now and again just to try and keep an eye on the place.
Oh, that's good. And you sent Jim up there. I see he did a cut and a big litter pit as well.
Yeah. Well, just before we opened it, we thought it'd be the right thing to do, to get up there, give it a bit of a haircut, and pick up some of the litter, because the litter up there was horrendous after this particular incident. So it's all looking great, and I'm pleased to say that there's people getting back up there and doing a bit of fishing.
Well, we'll see some Moatlands fish a bit later on. Tell us about Flint, because obviously everybody saw you had to shut Flint. The first question I've got, I'm sure other members would have, is why Flint and not the other lakes?
I don't know. Is probably the easy answer. I mean, if we were sort of to drill it down, I mean, the big thing is all lakes are different. They've got their own ecosystems and this, that, and the other. Even though they're right next door to each other, they're completely different. With Pingewood, we don't suffer too much with, and I'm touching wood now, we don't suffer too much with DO problems because it's right on the motorway, and the motorway acts as almost like a wind tunnel, just driving wind along there. Engerfield is a big wide open pit, so there's always wind across there, even on a day like today. There'll be a bit of, but Flint, because it's sort of slightly enclosed a little bit more and what have you, that's the one that lends itself to the issues. And after the flooding that we've had and all the other bits and pieces that we've had, we've got a lot of weed growth in there. And I think that was possibly, it certainly didn't help, because when weed produces oxygen during daylight hours through photosynthesis, and then during darkness, it actually absorbs it. So, and the net gain in summer is about equilibrium, and then you start getting the darker nights in and things like that. Suddenly that equilibrium goes the other way. Yeah. So you start using more oxygen than you're actually producing, or the weed is.
But we didn't lose any fish, right?
No, it was solely a precautionary sort of measure. Thanks to our members, they sort of alerted us to a potential problem, pretty quickly, and we chose to. I think it was about 3 or 4 days afterwards. We chose to sort of shut it down and just give it a break.
I'll put the picture up now. We put pumps in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did you have to keep the pumps running for?
I think the pumps were running for about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. I mean, like I say, it was.
That's not cheap, is it?
No, it's not. However, replacing the stock we've got in Flint, it pales into insignificance. So
couldn't be done.
Yeah, exactly. So it was sort of a belt and braces approach, really, and it wasn't to the point that it was last November. Let's put it that way. But because of the history of, what happened last November, I thought, right, let's err on the side of caution and it don't do the lakes bad just to have a little bit of a break anyway, to be fair.
And I noticed that either you or Jim put on Facebook just reminding people of our rules about no pre-baiting,
Yes.
or certainly no heavy pre-baiting and no post-baiting, because the last thing we want is uneaten bait in a water with an oxygen problem, do we?
I mean, to be fair, the uneaten bait thing, it doesn't matter whether they eat it or they don't eat it, it's still in the lake and it's still rotting.
That's true.
Whether they eat it or not, it still has the same effect.
But the rule's there for a reason.
Exactly. And, the last thing we need when we're off the back of something like this is to go straight back into it because people have been piling loads of bait in.
Yeah, well, that was a point well made. I'll just skip through some of the other bits and pieces on fisheries. Wileys, I know these Moatlands and the Flint problems have stopped you getting down Wileys, but what's your plan for having the Wileys fence finished?
Well, we're hoping to have the fence finished certainly by the end of this month.
Brilliant.
It's a bit of a nemesis, old Wileys. It really is. Every single time we try and get anything done there, something else crops up that's more important. And we actually managed to do, me and Jim sort of sat in the office and we came up with a work programme like we do most weeks, and we'd allocated 6 days to go over the Wileys, get it all done. Well, we actually managed a day. So we now got 5 days.
Oh, well,
so look on the positive side.
Hopefully we'll get it done. Couple of, you and I had a catch up the other day where we're hoping to get the North Mall car park done next month, and also make a start on clearing, probably not all of them, but some of the swims at on the LAA bit of Cholsey.
Yes, we're looking at sort of early October. Hopefully, whilst we're absolutely desperate for some rain, let's hope we don't have it all in one dump. But we should get there sort of early part of October. Get the Northmore car park. That's just a day's work. That's not a problem. And then again up at Cholsey, and we'll probably split it into 2 halves. We'll do one half this year and do another half sort of later on.
Well, that'll make our chub anglers happy because there's some big old beasts up there.
It's a nice venue as well.
It's a lovely venue, isn't it? Cottage Lane, obviously we've opened for the first year with the 2 lakes instead of the 4. It's clearly been a success. What are you going to be doing this winter about stock transfers and the rest of it? People have been asking.
Well, what we plan to do, we don't do any electrofishing during the summer months for obvious reasons. We tend to leave that until sort of winter time, and when I say winter time, when the water temperatures drop down. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be going up there, we'll close it for a couple of days, I expect, and we'll go up there, get an assessment of the stock, move some of the carp that are in what is now called Lake 2 over into Lake 1 and tench and silvers and
the other way.
Just on the sort of Cottage Lane thing, when all this was going on with Flint, and we had the oxygen meters out and this, that and the other, we were going around testing all the lakes, because we don't routinely test the lakes. We only sort of do them if we think there's an issue. Cottage Lane was the best I've ever seen it.
Fantastic.
In all the years I've been doing it, it's the best I've ever seen.
And I think I heard Wiley's had a good reading as well, didn't it?
Yes, Wiley's is good as well. So
fantastic.
It just goes to show, whilst I know there was a little bit of criticism, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, having all the trees taken out and what have you, it's made a big difference.
No doubt about it. Talk to anyone at Fisheries there. Right, well, I've got a very pleasant announcement to make. I was very sad, and I think a lot of people were, when Reading Fishing Club lost their access to the Thames at Cholbill and the Cholbill Lake. We obviously, don't like to see local fishing clubs or local anglers locked out of fishing opportunities in the Reading area, and Cholbill's a wonderful stretch of Thames. But I'm pleased to say that the new people that have taken over the lease, and it's not a fishing club, it's a group of individuals who've set up a syndicate on there with the support of the Cholbill Trust. They have come to see us, and we have formalised an arrangement where the only day ticket access to Charles Beale River will be through Reading District. Now, we're only acting as booking agents, but what we are doing is we're putting our substantial membership base at the disposal of the fishery and the anglers that want to fish it. And so for 12 quid a day, and I apologise for that, I wish it was cheaper, but it's
out of our hands.
It's kind of market rate for good quality fishing, isn't it, Dale? So for 12 quid a day, you can book on through Clubmate, and you would be the only people with day ticket access to the Charles Beale River. And as we know, Charles Beale River has produced some record, in fact had a world record.
It did at one time,
in the 1970s, didn't it? A world record catch of bream, and obviously used for the Angling Trust Riverfest qualifiers. Got some huge fish in it, and a very lovely stretch of river. So we've got to finalise the details, but it'll be the standard Clubmate booking. You'll pay your day ticket through Clubmate, you'll get the accommodation codes, and you'll get your day ticket online, and you'll be able to go and fish at Charles Beale. There will be some opportunities as well for people who might want to join the night syndicate on Charles Beale, chasing some of those big carp down there in the river, to join at a discounted rate if you're a member of Reading District. But we're just crossing the I's and dotting the T's, but I'm hoping to have all this out there by the end of the month.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is, it isn't fishing to local people lost, which it would be if it was a syndicate. So we brokered a deal where local people can still access, what essentially is a syndicate. Yeah,
and we are, total transparency. We take a £1 a day ticket for the administration, which is not unreasonable.
No,
and as you rightly said, otherwise people would be locked out. Local people would be locked out.
Right, yeah,
certainly on a day ticket basis. Excellent. Okay, let me remind people before we move on to other fish-related things. Emma, Dell's wife, Emma Shackelford, at the hut over there, is actively supporting the Macmillan Cancer Appeal coffee morning. It's Wednesday, September the 17th, from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Come along to the hut. All the tea and the cakes, anything you buy, all the money goes to the Macmillan Cancer Appeal. Fantastic cause. Everybody knows somebody that's been affected by cancer. So please come along and support that. And I think it's great that we're raising money for something other than fishing for a change.
Yeah, exactly. And it was all Emma's idea. Absolutely no input from myself. And it's just solely based on the fact that she's a bit of an agony aunt, and when people come into the hut, the constant sort of, I don't think there's a day goes by where cancer isn't mentioned. So fair play, Emma. Yeah,
I think so. So please support that. Wednesday the 17th. Couple of other bits and pieces. The Better Fishing Academy programme is coming to a close. We've got the Thames session with people like Michael Zazil and others on the Thames at Southstoke on September the 13th. I think there might be one or possibly two places left for that. There's a couple of places left for pike fishing with Steve Parker and the Reading Pike Anglers on October the 18th. Booking through Steve Reed as usual, and obviously, and I don't think there's ever in any doubt, the barbel session and the stick float sessions we did on the Kennet were very, very successful. They were completely sold out. You can see by the photos, everyone had a great time and learnt a lot. So we're very pleased with the way the Better Fishing Academy's been going.
It's great to see.
Right, I think it's probably time we rolled the picture gallery. Well, that was an inevitable mixed bag, Del, given the heat wave, wasn't it?
To be fair play to catch anything.
Well, particularly from the river. I mean, we knew the carp would show. I'll start off with the carp, actually. This one's a bit below the radar. Matt Gower, £48.12 Sonny-eyed common.
Yes.
I mean, that's quite a historic fish, but it never got a lot of publicity, did it?
Yeah, well, it don't tend to be fair. The only time I ever know someone's caught something of note out of sonning is when the car park suddenly gets full. It's a bit of it's probably one of the last mysteries around, because you just don't know what's in there.
No, how could you?
Yeah, exactly, because it floods every year from the river. You know, fish come and go. No one can really tell what's in there, but it appears there's a £48.12 common in there.
Well, that's right. Yeah, well, we know it. It's hit the headlines many years ago with big fish.
Yeah.
And will continue to do so. It's unlikely to win the competition, I have to say. It's not a great picture, but it's certainly a great fish. What is a great picture, however, is Ollie Lewis and his first ever tench. From Cottage Lane. It's a cracking picture, and nice fit, nice tench.
Yeah, and it just, and you know, fair play to the young gentleman. Let's hope he caught it on a float and not one of them horrible boilies and what have you. But no, fair play. That's a nice fish.
Well, I thought so, and I've got to mention the Rafferty family here. We've got Martin Rafferty. A lot of people know he's one of our bailiffs and works in Angling Direct. Lovely guy. Martin has had a few health issues. He's out on the bank now catching fish again. His first big barbel of the year, lovely 12-pound fish. Well done, Martin, for that one. And he's been taking his grandson out, and you can see Jude Rafferty's been catching those little rudd out of brown ears, and that's another happy chappy.
Yeah, exactly. I bumped into him on that day, and Martin confirmed that he was showing him the way. So yeah, fair play to the young lad. He's out fishing his granddad. Well,
as you should. And I think we should definitely mention Sean Badcott. Sean has had a phenomenal season, probably better than anyone on the barbel. He's had 2 or 3 12-pound plus fish, or at least 3, I think, and several other double-figure fish in pretty awful conditions.
It's not the best for barbel fishing, that's for sure.
So last month, he won the Fish of the Month competition with a big fish in June. Last month, in August, he had a 12-11, which I'll show now. He also is the runner-up in the Fish of the Month competition. He had one an ounce bigger than that. Unfortunately, he's just been pipped at the post. But he also had time to take his lad Reese out, and we got a lovely picture here with Reese with one of those Wilmot's carp, which are frankly getting a bit too big.
Yes, they are. Time for them to be moving on, I think.
Oh, I think so. Right, Dale, well, that's enough rambling from us. Which picture have you decided is the August fishing picture of the month?
Well, again, you know, it's not an easy one, and I'm going to break a little bit from sort of what I normally do, because I normally say you've got to have a face and you've got to be sort of big and smiley and this, that and the other, but this particular photograph you can't sort of ignore, because it's such a lovely photograph, and it's Steve Pressland, and it's a perch from Moatlands. It's not the biggest perch in the world, and like I say, he hasn't got a smiley face, although I'm sure he was smiling
he's a very smiley guy.
Yeah, exactly. So but it's just such a cracking photo.
It is.
So Steve, if you want to message us, then we will make sure you get your prize, courtesy of Rod Hutchinson and Bait Tech, and of course a Redden District, I don't know, do you call them bobble hats these days?
Beanies, they call them. That's what young people call them.
Yeah, beanie then. So, just get in touch and we'll make sure they're in the hut.
And before we move off that, I was really pleased once Jim reopened Moatlands and cleared it all up and the rest of it. The number of reports we've had of people targeting, not the tench, it's getting a bit late for the tench, but targeting the rudd and the perch. Yeah. It really is quite a prolific perch fishing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how big they go, though.
I think there's some bigger ones in there. However, it's quite deep. There's a lot of water, although it's not a particularly big pick. It's quite deep, so those perch will be hiding in there somewhere. But I'd be amazed if there wasn't big perch in there.
Difficult to really target them, isn't it? But with the vast numbers of small perch in there, and there's certainly enough rudd and roach for them to eat. Yeah,
certainly. I mean, rudd and roach, you know, it's prolific in there for them, and then some good sized rudd as well. So I'm led to believe.
do a surprise.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if someone turned around and said, "Oh, I've had a mid-4 from there."
Yeah.
It's that sort of water.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. Right. Well, just before I move on to the fish of the months, we've got a slightly different little feature. We've all been impressed with Jem Fox. Jem's a fantastic angler, great and valued member of Reading District. We see countless pictures of his chub and his barbel from the Kennet, and occasionally from the Thames. But he has been specialising in catching carp on the fly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put up a little bit of video now of Jem in action, which got a lot of praise. And I think he's down the bottom end of College Lane, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
And then obviously the end result. So have a quick look at Jem Fox in action catching carp on the fly.
There's a good chance now. Yep.
Now, Del, I don't do a lot of fly fishing, but that looks like a hell of a lot of fun to me.
Oh, it's a fantastic way of catching carp. There's a lot more finesse to it, obviously. And the beauty of it is you're not making big splashes and this, that and the other. You know, I think anybody that's tried to surface fish for carp has always ended up getting frustrated because they're taking the free offerings and this, that and the other, and then you put this dirty great big float out there and they all scatter.
So, there we go, endorsement of fly fishing for coarse fish. Certainly worth giving it a go. I've tried it myself once or twice, and Del's right, it is a great way of catching fish, and Jem's results, I think, are there for all to see.
Yeah, 1 caught on the fly is worth 10 caught on the bottom.
There you go. Right, my turn now. Fish of the Month competition. As I said earlier, the runner-up is Sean Badcott. Beautiful 12-12 barbel, which we can see here. Normally probably enough to win in the difficult conditions that we've had. Yeah. But I think right towards the end of the month, and we don't like to give our bailiffs prizes particularly, but Andy Dodds decided that he didn't want another blank on the river, and so tried for a late summer tench, which is not always easy, and he came up with this stunning £9.14. You've got to bear in mind that this brute of a fish, and it was a big fish, like a donkey across the back. Yeah. That would have been £11 plus in the spring, in the more normal times for fishing for tench. So I'm afraid we've got to give it to Andy again.
Yeah.
It's undoubtedly the fish of the month.
Yeah, I mean, happy accident. It happens all the time. You know, people change their mind last minute, try something a little bit differently, go to a different venue, and end up with a whacker like that.
So Andy, I'm sure you'll be in touch. There's a £50 Angling Direct voucher waiting for you, and I forget and a trophy, of course.
Yeah. He can add it to his other one on his mantelpiece
and tell us all about it over and over again.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, Andy. A fine achievement, and from not an easy time of year. So, time now for fishing prospects. So Jim, fishing prospects for September, often described as the favourite month for fishing. What do you reckon?
Yep, I reckon it's certainly going to be a good month for it. I think obviously this month is September now. We're going to hopefully be getting some rain, which we are desperate for. So your river guys, I'm going to say get your river tackle ready. We've had plenty of months of this sort of lake fishing with this hot weather, so get yourselves out on the rivers. There's some great days to be had on our river sections.
Thames should be coming into form now, shouldn't it?
Yep, yeah, I definitely think so. I think a lot of the guys that sort of been on the Thames have sort of been tiddler bashing, if you like, going up there with their waggler rods and getting sort of bags of roach and stuff. But your sort of specimen guys now, your chub guys and your barbel guys, I'm going to say this is going to be the start of the month where it's going to start to kick into gear now. Yeah,
I saw the other day Kevin Hargreaves had a couple.
Yeah, a couple of lovely fish.
Yeah, really nice, and some of the other guys are starting to catch. So that's always a good bet. Loddon's still going to be carrying a lot of weed. Needs a bit more rain, really, doesn't it?
It's been a warm summer, so I think that weed's going to be strong this year. So yeah, I'd give it another month or so before you get up onto Loddon. But once that Loddon's up and some of that weed's cleared, there's some great opportunities to be had. Just stay nice and light, rove around up there, and you can find the fish.
And what about the still waters? I mean, I can't believe that September and October aren't good months for carp fishing.
Oh no, they're absolutely brilliant. Especially carp fishing. These fish are they're wanting to eat at the moment. They've had all that spawn in. They've got that all out of the way. they're pretty much thinking about one thing now, and that's eating pretty much. So yeah, the carp pits, get yourselves round again. You can walk around these pits. I know it takes a little bit, some are quite big, but you can find fish. Don't just pop into a swim that looks nice. So find the fish and you'll have a good day.
Do they fit, they presumably, I mean I don't carp fish if you know, but presumably the onset of winter, I guess that's more October, November, the carp have a feed before the temperatures drop?
Oh yes, certainly will. Yeah, it's because we've had all this sort of prolonged hot weather. These sort of night temperatures are now starting to drop, and those fish will be clocking onto that.
And what about late season tench? It's not something I've done much of, but I mean, obviously Andy had that fish, but he had that fish because he wasn't going to be fishing the rivers in the middle of that heat wave. But is it a realistic prospect on our pits?
Oh yes, certainly is. Yeah. A lot of the carp guys that sort of go for a weekend's fishing on our big pits, they're getting plagued by tench. Some of them are. So yeah, definitely this time of year, these tench are on the feed. And the nice thing about this time of year is the weeds got up now. That weed's in the edges and stuff, so it creates that sanctuary for these tench. These tench can come in a rod length out on some of the swims on Farnham Flint. So it's a great place to be looking. Walk it early mornings, find where the fish are feeding, and you can have a good day doing that.
Thanks a lot, mate.
All right.
Thanks for that, Jim. I think that's about a wrap for this month. Don't forget Emma's Coffee Morning on Wednesday, September the 17th at Farnham Flint Hut from 1 o'clock to 5 p.m, all in aid of the Macmillan Cancer Appeal. Tea, cakes, good conversation, lots of chats, and raising money for a really good cause. And as Jim said, you know, weather looks more promising. We've had a bit more rain. We're hoping the rivers are going to start fishing a bit better than they have been. So it should be a good fishing month. September normally is. Tight lines out there.